Hello, Wanderers. Welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay series following King Corlys the Seaspray, Lord of the Stepstones, Master of Tyrosh, and a man who is driven by vengeance. Now, before we get into this episode, I do just want to acknowledge that Corlys looks a little bit different. In fact, you'll notice that every character in the game looks a bit different here. Eddard and Darren Tully and everybody essentially looks different. And that's because the Game of Thrones mod had an update, and that update changed the DNA of all the characters and thus made them look different than they did before. So this is the new King Corlys. Now, I don't think he looks bad. I think he looks kind of cool, actually. But he certainly looks different than he did before, and there's not really anything we can do with that. So we're just gonna roll with it. So in case you were wondering why everybody looks different, it's because the mod was updated. So there is that. Now, at the end of the last episode, after conquering Tyrosh and essentially starting the steps to feudalize the Stepstones, I posed a question to the community in a poll. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, you should certainly do so, because I do hold polls that will occasionally ask questions of what you think we should be doing with the characters, with the story, and things like that. And I don't always, I still want to make the decisions ultimately myself, but I'd like to hear what you guys think and try to get a sense of what the community feels the story is turning towards. Now, I asked the question as to what we should do going forward here now that we have conquered Tyrosh. And there were a few different possibilities. Now, I'll start with the least likely possibility, and that was for Corlys, King Corlys here, to essentially put aside his vengeance. Now, he is a stubborn man, he is a wrathful man, but I think that there is a possibility for him here, to understand that, vengeance is not going to come to him easily. Prince Eddard is strong in his position. Darren Tully, they might go against each other, but the Iron Throne is strong where it is, and he could easily turn his eyes towards essentially forging his own path. You could almost say that this is a type of vengeance in and of itself. They exiled him, they gave him nothing, they stripped him of all his lands, they stripped him of everything. And there is a certain sense of vengeance in taking that situation and rising up above it in the greatest and most glorious way possible, by conquering Tyrosh and potentially Lys and Myr, forming perhaps a new empire, the Empire of the Three Sisters, or something along those lines. That's a type of vengeance in and of itself. We're not murdering our enemies or things like that necessarily. We could still potentially do that. But this path would be one where he turns his focus away from Westeros towards building something new, something, unique to him here in Essos. And that's an interesting possibility, but it does certainly feel like the least likely. Corlys is still a man who, is driven by vengeance, and his vengeance lies in Westeros. So another, perhaps the most likely option, you could say, is an option where Corlys, falls into this dark path that he has been falling into for quite some time, and essentially he loses himself in it. And, he maybe takes a little bit of time to, conquer some of Tyrosh or Myr or Lys or Pentos or things like that, just to build up his strength, but only to build up enough strength so that when the opportunity to strike at the Iron Throne, and more specifically Prince Eddard and Darren Tully, he would use that, bringing blood and death once again to his enemies, and potentially to the entire Seven Kingdoms itself. That certainly seems like an option that makes sense for our character traits, wrathful, vengeful, stubborn, brave. And, it would potentially end with some interesting consequences. Would we, take Queen Rhaenys off the throne, potentially. There's the possibility that, Corlys could sit on the Iron Throne. I don't think that he wants to. I don't think he's ever really had any interest, but that is a possibility. There's another possibility that perhaps he dissolves the Iron Throne and, the Seven Kingdoms go back to truly being Seven Kingdoms, or perhaps even more. That is an interesting possibility as well. And like we said, it probably there you could argue that that is the most likely possibility based on, kind of our character traits. And then there was the final possibility that I brought up at the end of the last episode, and that was for a different form of vengeance, and that would be to swear fealty to the Iron Throne. And now, some of you, especially those of you who are leaning towards the previous two options, are probably feeling quite strongly against this. I mean, they were the ones who kicked us out. They exiled us. They stripped us of everything. It ended with our wife and our two sons dying, like, directly because of this. Why would we turn back? Why would we swear fealty to those who stripped us of everything once? Why wouldn't they just do it again? But I like to pose this, and I kind of suggested this a little bit in the last episode. There is perhaps a deeper or a more poetic form of vengeance. And you got to keep in mind, we're not a poet, but we are a man who is a thinker. We're a confider. We are melancholic. We are the type of man who, sits deeply with these things. And I think that there is an interesting path to vengeance that lies in swearing fealty to Queen Rhaenys, bringing her the stepstones in Tyrosh as essentially a gift, and proving our enemies wrong. In the previous option, where we, bring war to our enemies and bring death to them, with our armies and with our fleet, we are essentially proving our enemies right. They exiled us, and their excuse for exiling us was to essentially to say that Corlys was a power-hungry man, that he was going to use all the power that he was going to get as the heir to the Reach, and with his sons as heirs to Old Town and the Lord of the Iron Islands, and of course the Lord of the Narrow Sea, that he was going to use that power to usurp the throne. And if we chose the latter option, or the previous option, we would be proving them right. But perhaps it's more poetic to prove your enemy wrong. And that would be returning to Westeros, kneeling before Queen Rhaenys, who has never done anything to us. She's been manipulated by Eddard and Darren Tully this entire time, to present her with this grand gift and to accept our place as a rightful Lord Paramount, or perhaps we could even ask for a princely title, like those of House Martell, because we are indeed a king, and to show our enemies that they are wrong about us. And now, that might seem to you like perhaps it is the weaker option, swearing fealty. But I don't think that it is, because once we are back within the kingdom, acting against Eddard is going to be much easier. Acting against Darren is going to be significantly easier. We could strip Prince Eddard of his, title of regent. We could potentially strip Lord Paramount Darren of the title Hand of the Queen. We can manipulate things from the inside, and that is perhaps the easier path in some ways to getting true vengeance upon our enemies. Because, could Eddard really, how could he act against us if we come humbly before the queen, asking to be led into the fold and to give her this gift? I mean, potentially they could try to act against us through assassins or things like that. But that is it's going to be difficult for him to openly act against us. And so I asked this question to the community, and there was a significant amount, the largest amount, almost 50% of you, who thought that that last option was the best option. But that was, 50% there. A lot of you want to see us, continue a little bit here in Essos, and a lot of you just wanted us to rain down hell upon our enemies, regardless of whether that would end with our death or even our success. And I think that there is, a way that we can kind of make all of this work together. I don't think that we are going to immediately swear fealty. I think we are going to continue to work a little bit here in Essos. And then if we do swear fealty, that will not be the end of the vengeance there. We will be striking against Eddard. And in fact, I'm tempted to even try a murder scheme here. It's not very likely, but there might be some possibilities that we could get a murder scheme against them. We could try to maybe find some spies or things like that here in his court. And, we might just end up having him done away with. I would love to duel him, but it's unlikely to end with his death. And then once, Eddard's dealt with, Darren Tully, he might be, the longtime hand of the queen, but I'm sure we could deal with Darren Tully. Eddard is the true force behind the Iron Throne here. So dealing with him is going to be our first and foremost goal. But I think we're going to wait. I think we're going to look for opportunities. And I've got another, thought. If a war starts again here in the Iron Throne, if we join on the side of Rhaenys, like if we offer to join her war, imagine how hard it would be for her to turn down reinstating us as a, Lord Paramount or perhaps even a prince, returning Driftmark to us, all of these things. There's a lot of possibilities. So, like I said, I want to try to, incorporate all of these options if we can. And so, in any case, I'm going to let time go because, like I said, we're not going to be swearing fealty right away. Now, we do have a new and very interesting character in our court, and that is Tiana the Firekeeper. Indeed, a Red Priestess from Pentos has come to our court, and she has been preaching the word of the Red God here in Tyrosh, in the Kingdom of the Stepstones, for the last several months. And she has, in fact, had a great influence over our son, Prince Monty. You can see that now Monty follows the faith of R'hllor, which is going to be add to some pretty interesting things. We have already made her our spy master, as you can see here, and she does have a ruthless bent to her. She is an interesting character: gregarious, diligent, temperate, zealous, mastermind, philosopher, wise woman, spider, Red Priestess, of course. So yeah, she's a pretty interesting character. Obviously, the Red Priests have sent her here to, manipulate the situation to her advantage. She has already managed to do so by, converting our son and heir, which is, I don't think Corlys Monty probably doesn't even really talk about it. Like, this is probably a personal thing to him. But yeah, she has a lot of influence. Is she going to try to seduce Corlys too? I mean, she is a pretty woman, so, and Corlys, hasn't been with a woman in a long time. So who's to say what's going to happen there? But yeah, that's pretty interesting. So with her as our spy master, that does lead to some interesting possibilities. Now, I would like to potentially try to find some spies in his court. I actually kind of forget how we do that. We are looking for secrets over here. I think do we just go into his court and see if we can get people to join us as spy? Check for potential spies. There, that's how it is. Yeah, okay. So let's see if we can do that. Check for potential spies. Yeah, looks like we're, for some reason, that won't allow us to do so, which is fine. We're just going to keep looking for hooks. We're going to see if we can get anything on Eddard here. And we'll just go from there. I receive a missive from my adventurer with words embellished so. I can see him in the theater of my mind. We have been sailing up rivers and around the winding hills. After a drought, the locals told us we traveled by dried up. The river we traveled by dried up ahead of our vessel. Instead of giving up or turning back, we attempted the impossible. I commanded my crew to start building a track and pulley system, and we started dragging our boat across the land towards the next river. It sailed in a sea of grass and daisies. You can probably imagine what I did next. The locals took pity and gave you a new boat at a discount. The boat just about survived. Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure that's what happened, right? Ooh, we lost a bunch of money. Well, that's unfortunate here. Okay, well, so be it. We're not hurting for money. That's certainly for sure. We do have our characters, you know, we are raising control. Briglos is, you know, slowly taking control of the city here. You'll notice that I actually switched Cymric's, oh, this is exactly what we were looking for. While performing her duties as my spy master, Tiana has uncovered a secret held by my nephew, Prince Eddard. He has secretly taken my kinswoman, Daenarys, as his lover. Interesting. You are cheating on my sister, Prince Eddard? I mean, that just makes him, you know, an even worse man here. We could blackmail him. Interesting. We could expose his lover's secret. We could get a weak hook on him. A weak hook could be useful. I assume that this is all going through Tiana at this point, you know. Interesting. Yeah, he probably wouldn't if we blackmail him, he wouldn't even know it was us who was doing it. That's pretty interesting. Okay, I think blackmail, expose the secret. I think getting the hook could be good if he accepts it. And if he doesn't, then we're, you know, then the secret's exposed. So we're going to try it here. And we're going to see if we can get the hook, because a hook could be useful. Let's see. You're going to accept. There we go. Okay, so he, you know, Tiana went and took care of this, and Eddard now, we now have a hook on him. So it's just a weak hook. What does that allow us to do? We could, still doesn't let us do much more. Expose a secret, goad him. Oh, arrange a marriage. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some things we could do that would be, I mean, once again, if we swear fealty to the Iron Throne, then we will have more options. Now, one thing that I do want to consider is that we'd like to swear, if we're going to swear fealty, which, you know, seems like most people want us to do, we should probably do it before Queen Rhaenys, well, not before she turns 16, but more importantly, before Prince Aeron, the son of Eddard here, turns 16. He's 1 year younger than Rhaenys, or, you know, a few months. And they're going to get married when he does turn 16. And so we need to kind of keep track of that, because I would like to potentially deal with this situation beforehand. Now, I have been tempted to, you know, do a murder scheme against Eddard now, or Prince Aeron. Now, I don't think that there's any chance that Corlys would ever do this himself. Consider that you know, this is his nephew, but not only his nephew, but from a sister whom he, you know, his closest sister. There's zero chance that Corlys is going to murder Prince Aeron. But we do have Tiana here, and we do have, you know, Cymric here, a deceitful man. He's just, so maybe, you know, maybe Cymric wouldn't really be quite as interested in this. But Tiana is ruthless, and so, you know, acting on her own as a Red Priestess, you know, would she potentially, you know, do this? I mean, it's entirely possible. like I said, obviously mechanically we have to, we have to make this happen. But I think that Tiana might, if we can just kind of role play it as Tiana doing this, perhaps of her own accord, thinking that she's doing, what is best for us, and probably technically she is. It could make sense, and I mean, this would present an interesting possibility because we could then potentially either marry Queen Rhaenys to our second son, Prince Manfred here. Certainly a possibility, or potentially even get a marriage with her ourselves. So, yeah, I think that although we would never agree to this, I think that it's possible that Tiana might strike out on her own and do this, which obviously, mechanically can't happen, but I think we're going to do that. Obviously, doing a murder scheme against Eddard, that is something that we could potentially do. But for now, I think that we're going to, play out this event as Tiana here doing what she thinks she needs to do to put Corlys in the position where he can be manipulated. And so that's what we're gonna do there. There's a pretty good chance that we actually pull this off. So which is or sucks for the kid, but it is what it is. Queen Rhaenys is keeper of the cells. Let's see. Who's got the best success chance? I guess this guy here. Yeah, if we can get Maegor here. I mean, Tiana, she's the spy master. She has some money that she can, she has access to our coffers. She can get these kinds of things done. This is, kid's dead, basically. 8 years, though. Wow, that's a long time. That's less, that is more time than we can truly spend on it. All right, we got to get potentially some more people in here. Oof, that's expensive. We just need courtiers potentially here. Let's bribe this guy, and we'll bribe this guy too. Let's see, how's that gonna, 6 years, 21 months. Okay, we need a little bit more. I mean, this guy probably would. Okay, yeah, you know what? We're gonna do that. Like I said, I don't think that this is Corlys doing this. I think that Tiana is kind of handling this matter on her own, and that's kind of my explanation for it. I mean, we don't really have a lot of other options. I mean, to directly act against a guy, and now that I'm thinking of it, could the Red Priestesses, they have their ways. Could she convince Corlys that a son for a son, or even more, a wife and 2 sons for one son? Could she have convinced Corlys? Maybe he didn't give direct agreement for this. Maybe he didn't tell her to go out and murder his nephew here. But I could imagine that she might have weaseled her way into his mind, and perhaps he may not have given direct agreement, but perhaps he didn't tell her not to. Essentially, he didn't he's allowing it by omission. Deep down, in his heart of hearts, he knows that he could be responsible for this, and that this is a dark act. But the manipulation of Tiana and the Red Priests is part of this as well. And so I could kind of see that. He's not directly doing it, but he may know of how this that this is going to happen. That's an interesting possibility, I think. So yeah, I think that he might have some knowledge of this anyways. And so yeah, like I said, he is going down a dark path. He lost a wife, he lost 2 sons. Son for a son. it is it isn't uncalled for. It isn't unheard of, and that son is the son of his beloved sister, but it's also the son of his darkest enemy. And so, yeah, that's an interesting thing, and it's going to provide some very interesting possibilities for us in the very near future here. So let us see what we got here. My lord, my knight Alwyn announces his arrival in a surprisingly loud voice. I return from the Iron Islands with an artifact from my journey, a jewelry casket. Okay, it's not that good. Piety plus 0.8, renown plus 0.14, court grandeur bonus. Sure, it's magnificent, but I'm probably just gonna sell it. Honestly, it's not. This isn't that great. Let's take a look. We do need money, so we could extort our subjects, but I don't feel like that's necessary. Peruse the artifacts market. Sell artifacts. We're not going to sell seafoam. I'm tempted to give the San mace back. Ooh, wow, $200. All right, let's sell it. we just got it, and then we sell it. Our poor adventurer there. He went through all that struggle to get us that, and then we just sell it for a bunch of coin. Oh well. I am tempted to give Tibio-san his mace back. Well, he hates us, though. He really hates us. I don't think he'll ever like us. Maybe we'll keep his mace, frankly. We'll give it to someone. You know what? Evitho. Does Evitho have a special weapon? He's got the Sullied Blade, which isn't that good. No, you know what, Evitho? You need a better weapon than that. You need something that proves that you are truly the master of these pirates. And so, Evitho, we're gonna give you that mace. Let's see if he equips it. No, he hasn't yet, but we'll see. It's certainly better than the other thing there. Maybe you can go and smash Tibio's head in with it if Tibio gets out of line. We'll see. Anything else we need to take care of? We can demand payments, but we're not going to get much for that. Departing criminals. I don't want to do that just yet. And we could imprison criminals. Lady Nayla or Princess Lysadora. Then adulterer. Don't really care about that. Disabled buildings. Lordship of Tyrosh. Oh yes, we are. So I will say that we have gone and forbidden slavery in our kingdom, and that is simply because we are still a Westerosi man. We were raised to despise slavery and to think that it is unfitting for a lord to have slaves, and so we have gotten rid of slavery. An honorable act, I guess you could say so. But this is simply just due to our upbringing and traditions and things like that. So we have forbidden slavery. You could argue that this is, a moment of, Corlys having some compassion. Maybe when he came into Tyrosh, he saw, all of these massive slave markets and saw all of these slaves, he might have been disgusted by it, frankly. He is a man who spurns traditions, but I think he is also a man who has strong feelings and has strong emotions. And I think maybe seeing all those slaves gave him an emotional reaction. And so, he freed the slaves, which probably didn't earn him any friends in Tyrosh, but frankly, they, we had full control of the city. Probably all the former lords and masters of Tyrosh have either been rounded up and forced to bend the knee, or they were executed. And now, I don't think that we're necessarily slavery is, probably at this point it still exists in some forms, but it's more of, debt slavery or, indentured servitude. The masters in Tyrosh probably still technically keep their slaves, but we've enforced some new rules that kind of get rid of chattel slavery or things like that. So there we go. Small stables constructed in Tyrosh, so we have gotten rid of that big slave market, and we have replaced it here. I would like to build up the trade port, so let's do that. Okay, so Diana switches task to disrupt schemes. Okay, we've got all the secrets there. We still have that hook on. We still have that hook on Eddard, which is good. We've got some. We got an event here. What is this? No, it's not an event. It is. It says, I don't know. Whatever. It's not important. What is important is what I was going to do with our counselor. I'd like for you to go and support schemes. We don't really need it. This is going to go well. We've got 8 months left. Poor Prince Aaron is not going to last long. Queen Rhaenys is 14. I think we might, you know what? Oh man, if we could sway her. No, we can't sway her because she's just a child still. Yeah, I think they're going to try some kind of ploy like that. So Aaron dies. We either get Rhaenys, either we end up marrying her ourselves, which strikes me as a little bit weird. Just because we, knew her as a kid, obviously. So, it's just a little bit creepy. It's Game of Thrones, I know. But, it makes perfect sense as well to marry her to our son, Prince Manfred. Probably makes more sense, you could argue, but, we'll see. Prince Monty here has got some good traits, actually, as you can see. Wrathful, brave, gregarious. Oh, wow, he somehow became a spider as well. All right, so there might have been a weird little cut there because I realized I had kind of messed up Prince Amonte here when I was setting up the character of Tiana, which is one of our counselor tier channel member characters. If you want to get your own characters into these series, all you have to do is either sign up here on YouTube at the counselor level or on Patreon, and you can get your own characters into the game. So something to keep in mind. But while I was setting up Tiana, I ended up accidentally messing with Monteris here. So fixed to that. It's all good and taken care of there. So our scheme continues here. We've just got a few months left. 6 more months, 7 agents. We should be fine. I mean, the kid's as good as dead. I mean, there's a 5% chance that it goes well, unless we roll that, unless we roll a 1, things are going to be fine. Ooh, is somebody trying to murder us again? Probably. All right, let's this idiot belongs in my dungeon? Yeah, he does. All right. Yeah, we're probably, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's trying to murder us once more. Oh, okay. Prince Tibio's Hunt. We could join it. We don't really have too much else to do at the moment anyways, while we just wait for that. So let's do that. Let's join his hunt. We are, I believe, we are fabricating claims over here in Tyroshi Landing, because I would like to potentially get this final duchy here so that we can strip the Kingdom of Tyrosh, which I don't think we can usurp just yet. So we're going to attempt to do that when we get the chance. But yeah, we're currently working on that. Like I said, we're not sidling idly by, while all of this goes down. So as we await the arrival of the guests, blah, blah, blah. It's, just a hunt, just a regular hunt here. Let's get out there. Yeah, let us play this out. All right, she is 15, so we're gonna have to move quickly here when things do go forth once this murder scheme happens. That's going to really be our trigger here to act. And act we shall. Oh man, we're raking in the money. Look how much money we're making here now that we've got control. The hunt fails. Well, that's unfortunate, but didn't really care about it that much here. Yeah, we're making good money. do like it. It's been a while since we've been making good money. Let's leave this adventure behind for now. Finish the hunt. Okay. Murder scheme's progressing good. She can't get married for a little while longer anyways. So the question is, I mean, we're gonna have to move quickly though, because once oh, who are you? Lord Kenneth? The black band of the pirate crew. Oh. Pirate conquest. All right, looks like we got to get into a little bit of a fight. Oh, you got 8,000 troops. How many troops do I have? 9,000. It's gonna be a good fight. I am more than willing to do battle with you, you pirate bastard here. All right, let's go. Bring up all the troops. You know, I'm gonna fight this fight myself. Why? Because we can. Where are we? Here we go. All right, let's land. Where are you? You're over here. You know what? We're gonna land probably over here, and then we'll deal with this troop. Oh, nice stewardship lifestyle perk, golden aplomb, monthly income per stress level, hair held. Let's do that just to get the immediate, you know, kind of money going up. Greetings, my lord. Calera, one of the cooks says, I have your son Monteris in here with me. He promised to clean the pots of the cookery, blah, blah, blah. Gets the trait lazy, no. Gluttonous, ooh. Oh, man. Good, never waste energy. I don't think we would want him to be lazy. Don't think we would want him to be gluttonous. I don't think we would want him to be compassionate either. I don't think... Oh, I really don't want him to be gluttonous. You know what? I think it might kind of go against our character a little bit, but I'm interested in a compassionate character. I mean, that would be such a difference from us. I mean, maybe he just becomes lazy. Oh, it's such a bad trait. I mean, it's not that bad. It's just -1. I don't know. What kind of character does he seem? Wrathful, brave, gregarious, lazy? Honestly, compassionate kind of fits with that. You know, he might be the character who rejects the darkness that we find within himself, and maybe Monty is our own path to redemption. So, you know, we're perhaps, despite everything, Monty, you know, is being raised to be a good kid. Oh boy. All right, Tiana, what do you got going on here? You know what? I'd like to think, I don't know, are they doing just this classic thing? Are we gonna see like some sort of like shadow murder like we got with Renly? I don't know. What do you guys think? From the books, obviously. All right, well, Tiana's doing this, so let's watch it play out here. He is dead. I mean, we know that we were responsible in the end, but oh, that is tragic. I mean, now there is certainly the possibility, though, that, you know, we could... let's see, where is our son, Prince Manfred? Rhaenys, matrilineal marriage. Very close to accepting. Very, very close. All right. Things are getting really interesting here, and we certainly do need to act quickly to capitalize on what just happened. Now, I want to turn things once again to you in the comments. Let me know what you think our next step should be. We are going to probably be going on this path, this glorious return path that will still lead to vengeance, but will lead to us once again returning potentially as a hero to the Iron Throne. But yeah, I mean, things are certainly there's a lot of possibilities here. I do want to know what you guys think, so let me know down in the comments. But I will see you in the next episode.